speaking of DMs,
Yeah.
do you know when you DM me?
Yeah.
From I might, could I be, basically, what I'm trying to say, was it easy to DM me, like, are my DMs open?
Oh yeah, like you just go straight to your profile, and at the very top, are you trying to get people to message you? I don't know. Maybe you're looking for people. Let me have a look here. If I go to your profile, I'm pretty sure that your DMs were yes, but maybe that's because you follow me. So I don't know. Maybe they're only open to people that you follow.
I have to look into that, because before I get too big, I'm going to have to close them, because me personally, I don't want random people DMing me.
Yeah, it is a little bit strange in the first place, and I think also just Brian and I were doing a podcast yesterday with a guest that I can't say the name of, but it is a good guest, right? And he was talking about how bizarre it is that hundreds of thousands of people can watch your video and you don't even know who they are. And Brian and I had never really thought about it in that way, and we were both kind of freaked out by the idea that there's lots of people watching us that we don't even know who they are. So it's a strange one in the first place.
Like, on Instagram, obviously you can message anybody at any time here.
Yeah.
I don't think obviously for interviews it makes it a bit easier, but I don't think they should allow it. I don't think they should do it like that. I think they should only let you message, like, DM people that you follow.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that when you get to a certain stage, you can go for like an influencer profile or something. But I think you've got to have a certain number of followers and a certain number of things. So I think social media could definitely be better in the way that we let people communicate.
And the same for people like me that are trying to get into it works pretty well, but I can imagine they will get a load of random DMs asking for nudes and things like that.
I'd imagine that you're going to get loads of DMs asking for nudes. I mean, people know just sort of, if you're out there just reaching out to people, the amount of people who are going to message you for that sort of thing is dangerous. You just ask Mark Goldbridge. I mean, he sends his nudes to millions of people.
Yeah, I got a lovely body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you. I love your sarcastic sense of humour. Because I'm a bit like that.
Yeah, I can tell.
But obviously, so far, a lot of these guests are not being very bantery. If you know what I mean? Like, I don't know them that well.
Yeah.
I don't really have any banter with them. But because I see you most weeks on the kickoff, I know what your personality is like. So
exactly.
So we can have a bit of banter.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people, I guess maybe sometimes I get a bit too comfortable too quickly with people. So I start making really inappropriate jokes and some people take them way too seriously. But thankfully there are people like you who can definitely take a joke, which I like.
Life is too short to take things so seriously. Like, there's certain things that are really not worth getting upset about.
Yeah, exactly. And at the same time, if it is worth getting upset about, then I'm more than happy to talk about it. But if I don't mean to upset anyone, then I don't know why you would bother getting upset in the first place. But it is what it is. And after I've been on YouTube for however long and doing multiple things, sometimes you just have to learn that some people are going to be upset by things, and that's not really something that I can change.
Obviously, you mentioned that you and Brian sometimes have disagreements. Like, I think that's, in a way, I think that's a positive thing, because if you agree on everything, then you're not going to create good content because you particularly agree with each other, and that's not good content in terms of YouTube, is it really?
Well, also some of the best things that have happened in my life, whether I've meant them to happen or not, have probably come from conflict or come from disagreement or come from at some point, some form of turmoil or hard work. And I think Brian and I pretty much made a relationship on the fact that we disagreed on a lot of things. Or, you know what? I don't even think we disagreed. I think we had different perspectives, which ultimately came to maybe similar outcomes or, similar paths. And we had that mutual appreciation for each other. And so the fact that you can disagree with someone and realize that they're disagreeing with you because they want the best or because they want to, you know, help you is such a positive thing to have in a relationship.
You met on the Football Republic, didn't you?
Yeah, but we don't say the Football Republic anymore. We just call it That Dead Channel.
well, they are not around anymore, so that's fair.
I feel a bit sorry. I feel a bit sorry for them in that sense because, you know, we had some really great videos on that channel. And I was going through it the other day with a friend and I was like, God, we made so many good videos on that channel. You know, I made a documentary about Jurgen Klopp and Pochettino and Conte, and Brian and I used to do, what was that game called? Game of Two Halves.
Yeah, and, that's where, you know, that's where I saw you first, the Game of Two Halves.
Yeah, and I really we used to enjoy filming that. Brian and I would sit down, and it would be very similar almost to what you and I are doing here, because Brian would be in Newcastle, another guest would maybe be in London, and I would be in London as well, or wherever the guest was, right? And Brian and I used to have to wait for quite a while before we get shooting, because obviously they have to frame up the cameras, they have to make sure that everyone can hear each other, all this sort of stuff. And it was a lot harder even a couple of years ago, I think, to get everyone to hear each other and sort of record it okay. And so we'd just be sitting there, and very quickly we realized that we had a similar sense of humor, because we both like The Office, we both love Ricky Gervais, all these different kinds of people. And we were just given the same references. And then one day we got a bit annoyed because they cut all of our best jokes out of a show because they were clearly way too inappropriate for what the audience was. And we just said, well, we should do a podcast then and start making some of these inappropriate jokes together. And thankfully, a lot of people at that time really enjoyed watching it. So we were quite lucky, really.
You know, do you know in the beginning of the podcast, obviously you could give two shit, but I think you're really hardly treated by Brian's audience at first. Obviously people are warmed to you now a lot, but back then I thought you were really harshly mistreated.
I appreciate that. And thank you very much for saying that, because I think I was probably a bit harshly treated as well. But I also think it was a good lesson, because I also think, you know, before that, I hadn't really thought about how I was presenting myself to people. And I didn't really realize that I might rub people up the wrong way in the way that I do. And it was a good lesson at the time, because I think sometimes you can be a little bit arrogant or a little bit too, you know, appreciate each other's perspectives. And, you know, the Football Republic was a great start for us. And I'm really grateful for that time, because I think, you know, we built off that platform. And, you know, we really feel like we're innovating a bit in the industry now with what we're doing with the Kickoff and other things. And when we look around and see so many other people trying to rip off the watch along that we do with the Kickoff, or, you know, the Match Companion, it's actually quite a compliment that people like the BBC are ripping off our format, or Sky, or, I mean, name anyone in football right now, they've ripped off the Kickoff. So that's quite satisfying in that sense. But it means that we also have to remain ahead of the curve. And I think the great thing about working with Brian is, on a professional side, he always wants to be ahead of everyone else. And that kind of drive, and I think that kind of, that kind of hunger to be competitive is something that's really served him well down the years.
Yeah, obviously you guys have a lot more freedom than these big main corporations do. Like, I imagine when they do it, they have to stick specifically on the football. You guys, you go all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, which I think some people quite enjoy as well. Like, you know, I think a lot of people kind of enjoy that. It can go anywhere. And I think it's strange because, you know, someone who's starting out a podcast like you probably do have to be quite focused. You probably do have to get your audience in. So, you know, give them a hook, something that can bring them in. And we did that for quite a long time. You know, we hooked people in with football, and then we had other conversations. And also I think it's important that there's a diversity of content online. Like, it's really great that, you know, you and I can have a conversation about absolutely anything. And I think there's real space for where Brian and I are doing our content right now, because a lot of people are doing it the other way, where they're very serious, very straight-laced, very presentery. And I don't think that's a problem. That's good. But I really love what we're doing right now. And I think it's, you know, it's an enjoyable thing to make, which I like.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy some presenters.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy Laura Wood's work. I enjoy Gary Neville's work. Will he does a bit of presenting every now and again. Like them people in particular are very good at what they do. But then there's some of them where I think, nah, you're not it. Basically.
Yeah. Not it. That's a really great way of putting it. But then there's also lots of other younger guys on YouTube who I think are doing really great presenting right now. You know, there's people on Football Daily like Joe Tomlinson and Zach Jaleb, and I'm trying to think of other talented guys. I mean, I really enjoyed the VYB channel as well, which is, you know, Dave Horner and those guys. And I think, you know, they are young, talented guys who haven't grown up as traditional presenters. And now they are being more traditional presenters, or are presenting for Chelsea or Sky or all these kind of people. They are changing what it means to be a presenter, because a presenter now can be much more laid back or have their own personality a bit more. And I think that's important to keep that, not have someone who's too corporate or too